Welcome guys, Casual here from Casual GGs, and we are back today with another video for ESO. Today we're going to talk about Endless Archive again, and we're mainly going to look at what are the top 10 build consideration you guys should be doing when you're looking at your own Toons build. Just a quick update guys, our Patreon site for the channel is up and running. There are multiple options for you guys to support the channel, and any support from you guys goes a long way to keep us doing amazing videos for you guys. Thanks in advance guys. So back to the video. In the background what we have is my Arcanist Toon going against the final arc boss fight in arc 3. We'll also have a look at some marauder which crashes in during stages and also some cycle boss fights as well. So let that run while we go through today's content. Alright. One thing guys, today I'll be referencing a lot back and forth on stages, cycles and arcs. This chart shows all the phases we go through before we complete one arc. I've also linked a video on top where we go through the basics of Endless Archive. Have a look at it, there's more details there. So the first thing we're going to talk about is gears. One thing about Endless Archive is that it's a continuous journey, and then during the cycle fights we get mix and match of bosses from dungeons all over the game. It could be base game bosses, it could be DLC bosses, it could be easier bosses, it could be bosses with mechanic. With all this diversity and also the final arc boss fight, which by now you guys would have noticed is full of AoE chaos, our Toon just needs to be ready for any scenario. So we'll take a break out of the fight. This is the gears which my Toon is wearing, and what I've done is that I have certain pieces of gear which are core and it will always be with me, and one of the 5-piece set is interchangeable. So let's look at the gears. What happens to my Arcanist is that the Deadly Strike, the Oakensoul Ring and also the Slime Claw is fixed. They'll be always on my Toon. The Telvanni Efficiency and Hexos Ward is something I change according to where I am. If I'm in stages or cycles, what I realize is companions are very helpful. For example, in stages, if you guys have Sharp on a DPS configuration or Azenda on a healer configuration, they are very helpful, right? And on cycles, if you guys have Azenda as a tank or Azenda as a super healer, he's very helpful as well. So using something like Telvanni Efficiency makes the companions good, strong, very helpful on those phases. And then on the right, what you guys can see is that when we are at the final arc boss fight, it's chaos, right? There's a lot of AoE and companions normally don't last the full fight as well. So rather than wearing something like Telvanni Efficiency, I swap to Hexos Ward, which then provides my Toon a lot of survivability. So even when the companion is down, my Toon can avoid, run, survive the AoE attacks and then finish the fight. So this is the approach I've been taking when I'm entering Endless Archive with my companions. Hopefully it helps you guys as well. So for the PC players, you guys are lucky because we have add-ons, so you guys can use add-ons like Wizard's Wardrobe. I'm just showing it in the background on what you can do with Wizard's Wardrobe, and what we can do is we can do a pre-configuration save. So we can create a profile for let's say Telvanni Efficiency for stages and cycles and save it to a keybind. For mine, I save it on key 7, and then for Hexos Ward we can wear the full set and save it, let's say, on key 8, and then whenever you guys are in that fight you can easily switch between 7 and 8 and use those configs. That's an option for us PC users. Unfortunately for console users, you guys don't have add-ons, so you'll have to do it manually. But the good thing about Endless Archive is that the fights don't auto start. We still have to take 1 or 2 steps before the fight starts, so you guys have option to do it before entering the fight. So let's move on to number 2, your build itself. Should you be a damage dishing glass cannon, or should should you be a balanced setup? From what I've seen, the amount of damage, especially in the final arc boss fight, and also when the marauders invade your stages, is quite hefty. So in Endless Archive, what I notice is as much as damage is important, survivability is important as well. So having a balanced build for your Toon where it can take a few hits, especially melee hits or AoE hits, still roll dodge out of the way, heal yourself and go back into the battle is a good option to have, which will take you guys far. Okay, number 3, stamina or magicka. What should be the primary stat for offensive in a build for Endless Archive? From what I've seen going against the final arc boss is that there's a lot of blocking, there's a lot of roll dodging out of the way. Even when the boss does a melee attack, there's AoE attacks around him, so you'll have to quickly dodge roll as well. So there's a lot of scenario where you need to roll dodge, block and so forth. So all of these consumes stamina. So my observation, a stamina build will do better in Endless Archive, because the pure fact that your build is gonna make sure your stamina recovery is good and you have a bigger pool of stamina to play around as well. So a stam build just gets a little bit easier to maneuver, avoid and also do damage. Magicka builds would be alright, but you'll just have to be careful so that you don't overdo the roll dodge, blocking and so forth, because your stamina regen would be very less in a magicka type of build. You might run out of stam and then you'll be stuck. So a stam build allows you guys to make more mistakes during the playthrough, get hit but still run away, heal up and come back. So a stam build does have an edge, just keep that in mind. Alright, number 4, we're looking at melee or ranged. So most of the stages and the cycle is a mixed thing. If you guys are a melee character, if you got a range character, you're gonna perform almost the same. Now the final arc boss fight, however, you might find it easier if you have a range build, right? Even medium range is good enough, but at least some range build, because you can keep on doing damage while keeping your distance away from the boss. What you guys realize with the final boss fight, a lot of the attacks, will burst a small AoE damage as well, and as a melee character you need to be in range, you need to be close to the boss, and that's gonna, while you do damage, you're gonna take damage as well, right? So having a range, medium range like an Arcanist or long range like a Sorcerer would help you guys have an easier playthrough. So let's talk about how many arcs make sense on a daily basis. We all have work or university or schools, and we only can spend certain amount of hours in Tamriel on a daily basis, and during that time I don't think we just want to do Endless Archive, we want to do other contents as well and have fun with our friends. So with that in mind, so doing one arc I think is a must, right? Because the daily completion for Endless Archive is running through one arc, so that's doable. 2 arcs I think will be just fun. So if you guys want to bring your companion or get together with one of your friends and just have a fun run, just do 2 arcs, don't do anything more. You guys will have fun, you guys will have some giggles, you guys will have some challenges, and then you just continue doing pledges or any other things. But if you guys want an experience like how we used to do 2 or 3 daily pledges in veteran hard mode, then push it up a notch, go to arc 3. It's challenging and also gratifying, so 3 arcs is pretty decent, but I would recommend don't go beyond that, because the thing with Endless Archive is that every day we'll have to start from 0 and build to arc 1, arc 2 and arc 3. Normally going to arc 3 will take around 2 hours of your time, right? So if you guys go beyond that, it's gonna take longer. So you're doing continuous battle for 2 hours plus, I think fatigue is gonna set in and you'll stop doing Endless Archive moving forward. Alright, let's look at class option. Now the class which currently just stands out because it's easy to play, it does a lot of AoE damage, and a lot of its damage capabilities also has defensive capability as well is the Arcanist. I think the most optimized class you guys can bring into Endless Archive and have a fun time, simplified rotation, throughout that 1 or 2 hours you guys are gonna spend in Endless Archive would be the Arcanist. The heavy attack Sock would have been a good option before, but after the nerf which has happened to its AoE damage, it might not be a strong contender for an easy to use class inside Endless Archive compared to the Arcanist. So the Arcanist would be the class I'll recommend. If you guys haven't tried, you should try it out. Doesn't mean other classes can't do Endless Archive. For sure, all classes in the game with their own builds can do it. I'm just saying because you guys are gonna spend a continuous 1 to 2 hours inside Endless Archive, the class which is gonna make the playthrough easier and simpler would be the Arcanist. The next option, guys, is 1 bar or 2 bar, right? I'm not gonna be biased because you guys know I love Oaken Soul, and a 1 bar build is just fits my playstyle because I'm just bad at bar swapping. But let's look at it this way, right? The thing with Endless Archive which makes it different to dungeon pledge runs is that dungeon runs normally take 15 to 20 minutes, right? Your attention space, your control and so forth is top notch within that 15 to 20 minutes. So you guys go in, do a veteran mode, do the final boss, and you guys come out, right? 1 bar, 2 bar, it doesn't matter, all works. But an Endless Archive is an endless run for 1 or 2 hours. You do get tired if, let's say, you do 3 arcs. By the time you reach the final arc boss fight in arc 3, you are to a certain level tired. So having more simpler rotation for your Toon would be good and make your experience much easier in the Endless Archive run. So 1 bar does give that because you guys don't have to manage too many rotation, keep up all the buff up and running and so forth. So I would recommend a 1 bar build, but remember, a 2 bar build is always stronger and more powerful in terms of damage, in terms of survivability and so forth, but it's just gonna take a little bit more of your concentration to maintain that rotation. Yeah, that's the thing you guys want to weigh. But if you guys want to keep it fun, keep it simple, you just finish a long day at work, you just want to go in and do 2 arcs and have fun, a 1 bar simplified Arcanist build always does the job well. Alright, the next one is a single player with a companion or just duo with a friend. Of course, guys, by all means, bringing another friend and both of you going through Endless Archive on a daily basis is the most fun you guys can have, right? So if you guys are part of a guild, you can just schedule your time with another guildmate, run through it on a daily basis. You guys will have amazing fun. I normally do pledges before Endless Archive with another friend and we have fun running through, talking and making mistakes and laughing about it, and then completing the dungeon is fun. Same goes for Endless Archive, especially the puzzles in Endless Archive. If you guys do it with another friend, it's just fun, right? Even though the puzzles are repetitive, but it's always fun to do it and laugh about it as well. So 2 players is always preferred, but if you guys are just on a solo mode, you want to run through, bring a companion and I'm sure it will be fun as well. Alright, let's talk about food and enchantment. What I'll recommend is if you guys gonna go through an Endless Archive run, treat it like a veteran dungeon. Just bring good solid gold food for the run. So whether it's Bewitch Sugar Skull for a more generic build, or if you're a very heavy stamina build, Arteium Takeaway Broth, or if you're a very pure Magicka build, then use Clockwork Citrus Fillet, because as the difficulty gets higher and higher in every arc, at least the food you guys just consume will carry you guys through that difficulty as well. And another thing I'll always recommend to you guys, if you guys are gonna invest for enchantment in your build, get gold enchantment because they offer you the best return of power compared to the money you guys spend. So for Endless Archive, make sure you guys are using gold enchantment for all your builds. Okay guys, we are at the last number 10 consideration you guys want to do when you're doing your build is on the class set. I'm sure you guys have noticed by now, if you guys gonna take an Arcanist into Endless Archive, when you guys kill the Marauders or when you guys kill the Arc Boss, you get a class set drop. And the class set drop you guys get basically for that class, right? So if you have an Arcanist, you're gonna get an Arcanist class set. If you guys bring a DK, you guys gonna get a DK class set. So that's one way of farming it. But there's also another option. While you guys complete your Endless Archive run, you get the currency for Endless Archive, which is Archival Fortunes. Now, the good thing about Archival Fortunes is that you can go back to the Endless Archive Index Center and buy any class set from the merchant. The only thing is it's a gamble. Like what I'm doing, I'm primarily using my Arcanist on a daily basis when I go through Endless Archive. But what I do with the Archival Fortune is that I'm starting to buy a class set for DK and also Sorcerer, because I like those sets which are more offensive themed. So you guys can farm it that way as well. So the Endless Archive drops will drop for your class, and then you could plan to buy from the merchant other class set that you are targeting. So that's about it, guys. I just wanted to share how I normally look at builds for Endless Archive. These are the 10 areas I'll consider before I put a build together. Please like the video, guys, and subscribe to the channel as well if you guys haven't subscribed. I'll see you guys on the next video. I'm Casual, and GG's, guys.